Greetings and welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst Ofs. The best of Top 10 Worst Of lists that I've ever heard of. I mean, get off my back already with it. All the scrutiny. Here we are, 18 seconds into the video, and I'm already getting the third degree from you. Who the hell are you? That I should have to go through all this. Podunk, what are you from, Podunk, Idaho? I'm your host for today's Odyssey. My name is Gil T. Pleasures, and I can't express to you in any conceivable language what a splendiferous occasion this is for me to be able to bring to you a top 10 worst of list that is such a blockbuster list. I'm not sure that we'll be able to. We'll call this the pinnacle of our lives. I think all of us will look back on this top 10 worst of list and think that this is the be all end all of our entire lives. It can't get better than this. Bigger, more potency. And of course, it's top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning. This is the universality of this list. Is a compendium of splendid, impossibly glorious, triumphant endeavors beyond anything that anyone's ever. This is a combination of the moon landing, the taking of Omaha Beach, the release of Valley of the Dolls. And hardcover, the Miracle on Ice, the 1980 Olympics hockey team, U.S. hockey team. Do you believe in miracles? Top 10 worst of lists is going to deliver this miracle. The top 10 worst of things to do. Everybody has one out of every 7 days is a freaking Monday. I mean, come on. Can there be any more universal appeal than Mondays? Bragging on Mondays, and then you also get the Garfield audience too. For sure I'm going to tag Garfield in the goddamn notes when I post this video. I'm going to be tagging Manic Mondays. I don't like Mondays. Mondays, am I right? That's going to be one of my tags. Mondays, ... Am I right? And then Garfield. And then also the keys to achieving orgasm on the first try, and other really despicable things that I'm going to regret. I'm so old. I talk about, just allow me to transgression here for just a minute here. I'm so old that when I orgasm, it comes out as talcum powder. You know what I'm talking about when I mean it, and by it I mean, well, I can't mention it without blushing. So anyway, top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning. Wow, how spectaculars. But before we get to it, I wanted to make, clear the air between us, because I know there's the sort of like a cloud hanging over us. Number one, I am not the be all end all of, intelligentsias and stuff like that. I'm one creeped out freak who's just had enough, drew a line in the sand, and said, I'm gonna take up my pen, and I'm gonna rage against the machines that rage against the I don't know what I'm gonna rage against specifically. I didn't know you were gonna put me on the spot like this, but I'm taking up my pen, and I'm raging against the dying of the light and various machines that cause the compromise of the human spirit. I won't have it. I'll not sit idly by and watch the human spirit be completely compromised on levels that we have yet to even ascertain. Why be introspective on anything if you don't have the nads to go all the way? You just can, let's do some B movie or something like that, going all the way. It's never going to be an introspective movie. You see it on this little scroll thing here that you get on your cable home channel and stuff like that. It says Going All the Way, 1983, Tom Cruise Tour de Force, starring Tom Cruise and Barry McCracken and such people. And it got like a lot of things. It goes like, it's not, you can tell by looking at it, it's not going to be about like finding your truest sense of self through an introspective, meditative series of isolation and self-sacrifice and denial, asceticism, and things. It's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be like going, to Tijuana and banging some hooker, and like before, as a rite of passage for you to graduate high school, whatever that was a time. Was it losing it? But if you see a movie like from 1983 that says "Going All the Way," that it's not going to be like going all the way and just a journey of self-discovery. They just don't do that up in this piece. There are no journeys to self-discovery other than go to Deepak Chopra, and then you find out that his journey to discovery was to discover $100 billion in his offshore bank account. Oh, man. But I do have a surprise for you. I put the keys to a brand new Cadillac car under your seat. I said, hey, you all get Cadillac cars. Not really. The Cadillac cars offer is void where exhibited. I don't know. I thought you'd get excited for something like that. Is it worth the brief amount of excitement to have the giant come down 3 seconds later? Like you find out that it really wasn't like a legit offer, and it was just sort of like, trying to play games with your feelings. It doesn't feel good to have people play games with your feelings, does it? So why do you do it to, so much to others? God damn it. Top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning is in part sponsored by, from Planet of the Apes. It's Planet of the Apes, the home board game. Planet of the Apes home board game is a part sponsored by It's the East Wing, the long-awaited reboot of the West Wing. See all your favorite made-up characters trying to bail out a country that's been reduced to a burnt-out husk. He's talking about us. The original West Wing was, of course, the companion series to The Apprentice. Spewed forth shortly thereafter. They lulled lefties to sleep with one while they were grooming a president with the other. Hey, such is life. In the midst of the one-party crypto state. Am I right, my fellow victims? He's right. Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. Spew some hate indiscriminately towards someone you don't know. If you agree, it's the East Wing, now fully destroyed. Technicolor 3D. The East Wing. All right, so anyway, we got Super Effective Protective Detective is coming soon to Friday night must-see lineup at 5:30 in the evening. The most effective protective detective in his invective is an elective, a college course that features protective detective electives. It's the Super Effective Protective Elective Detective. Now available in your local grocer's underwear drawer. And of course, coming to a multiplex indoctrination center near you, it's TiVo Las Vegas, the story of one person's attempt to try to TiVo a lot of TV shows while he goes to Las Vegas. It's TiVo Las Vegas. TiVo Las Vegas. God damn it. I'm going to burst the blood vessels. False alarm. All right, so anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? I think we've all read the page. Top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning. Number 10, lying to a court-appointed official. Now, that's probably never a really great thing to do on any day, even on Hump Day. Oh, Hump Day. How I long for your sweet embrace. That's a good idea for a movie called Hump Day, and you got a bunch of people just going nuts, taking Cialis and some Viagras, and going to town in the workplace. Oh, consensually, because we wouldn't want anybody to feel offended. You take a look at, like, give yourself, like, a little bit of, like, a view, an aerial view, if you will, a perspective of between the 70s and now. Just watch a baseball game or something like that, or football game, probably even better, where, it's a highly competitive game and stuff like that, and people are making great plays. After each one of those plays, you see somebody walk off field or run off field or anything like that, or run back into the huddle, and you're going to see some guy from his team patting him on the ass. Unrequited. Solicited. Head tapping of ass. You're not tapping of ass. I'm patting of ass. I don't want to muddy the waters here. This is already a conjectural impossibility to think that anybody is able to, with their limited brainwaves and connectivity, to be able to figure out what I'm even leaning towards here. But you see it left and right. People patting each other on the ass. And there's ass pats aplenty. Ass pats abound. And you're watching this going like, well, how did people survive with their emotions intact with so many unsolicited, non-permitted, they're not asking for prior authorization for the ass pat before they come in. I was like, here comes the ass pat. It's coming. You'll see it in any second now. Here it comes. There it goes. There goes the ass pat in motion. See the downward trajectory. Sorry, my nails are a little bit filthy. I had a hairdo incident that I had to untangle. And just on the way to the ass now. At no point have we seen the progenitor of the ass pat asking for permission. In fact, you won't. It'll be too late. By the time that the little butt slap there has taken place, there will have only been, on average, 3.2 milliseconds between the initiation of the patting motion and the strike. The violation of one's personal space is about to be committed here in live real action, almost completely unrehearsed. And the guys go, oh. You don't see today's reaction would be like, you watch the life go out of somebody's eyes as this occurs. And go like here's the victim of the ass pat as recreated using method acting by the actors school, where I spent 12 years trying to mimic the reaction of someone receiving an unpermitted ass tap, and it goes something like this. There goes the light out of my eyes. Oh, the life is draining out of me. The life essence. I've been hurt. I've suffered an ass pat. And I'm going down for the count. The ass pat has destroyed my entire ethos. And guiding ethos. And inviolate the sanctity of my inviolate butt areas. Oh, now here comes the tragedy. All this is cursed. You gotta remove all the gesticulations and narrative that I'm embellishing all of this with. So you would see, if you're seeing just the ass tap portion without all the extraneous explanation, you'd be like, it'd be something like that. Right? And then you're moving along, things like that. And then, 5 minutes later, you're like, keep him up with this. God damn stupid pieces of production staff. And you just, life is ruined. Life is over. And the post-ass pat phase of one's life it's like all of your dreams and aspirations have been ruined forever by a strike of one's aggressive, toxic touch. And yet, somehow in the 70s, these happen like you're watching a game for 2 or 3 hours. It happens like about 7,500 times in just one of these games. 175, 185 ass pats per game on average for National Football League's average game in the 70s. And these guys are just kind of moving through like whatever, and they keep just handing out punishment and gathering as many CTEs, PowerPoints. If you collect enough CTE PowerPoints in one season, you can earn yourself a beer koozie. And it's like, oh yeah, and like somebody pats the ass. It's almost like it's gratified, like they're saying to you, "Nice going, buddy," or "Tough luck, buddy," or like a sympathetic ass pat. The ass pat had numerous different roles in society and interactions, and what was at that point considered to be a non-hostile environment. Because you'd have like the ass pat for like, "Oh man, you did great. What a catch. Wow, man, you get that extra 2 or 3 yards that you got just on your own was something spectacular. You know what? I'm going to reward you with an ass pat." And you're like, bing. And you're like, and then there's the, "Sorry, Charlie, Star Kiss is made for tuna with taste," ass pat, trying to console somebody like, "Oh man, you lost 2 yards on that run, but you gave it a good try. We let you down. We didn't do any good blocking, and maybe the play calling was a little bit, too conservative or inappropriate." And they'll give you an ass pat for that. You'll be like, hang dog look and everything like that. Walking back to the huddle and everything like that. And here comes the ass pat. Ass pat's coming. It's like, there you go. It's not like it's going to make you feel 100% better, and it shouldn't. We need to, hang on to our negative memories. Like Captain Kirk says in one of those Star Trek episodes where they stop having people having anger. And Captain Kirk says to the antagonist, he goes, "I need my anger. My anger just like whatever." It's like, we learn our lessons through mistakes, through anger, through reactions to inequities in life, in the universe, and in the case of Star Trek, in deep space where no man has gone before, or woman. I don't remember specifically having seen any ass pats on Star Treks back in the 60s, 70s, whatever the original series was, and stuff like that. But I have a feeling that, in the future, the ass pat will once again revert to a sort of innocuous sort of affirmation of our shared humanity and the shared struggle of all of us together, having experiences that, can go from the dizzying highs of gaining an extra 2 yards on a pitch out left play, or, having been dragged down from behind the line of scrimmage in an end run. I think that a lot of people are going to be like, the ass pat was in many ways comforting. And I don't think that all those football players, 180, 90 something ass pats per game that you're seeing, I don't think there's any like follow-up or hangover impact of the ass pat when it comes to like further sexual transgressions. I don't even think it was a sexual thing. I think it was like the ass was kind of seen as neutral territory in many respects back in those days. And also, for that matter, in the future. The future that I want a future where the ass pat is no longer sexualized. Okay, where people can just say, "Hey man, you did your best. Here's a little ass pat to remind you not to take it too hard." And, nothing sexual about it. It's not like, they had 190 ass pat, 215 ass pats on average per football game. And yet I would say that probably only 2 or 3 of them led to any sexual congress of any form whatsoever. And that, that includes them having to shower together. So I mean, so it's muddies the water. You'd have to do a much more detailed research with a much wider spectrum of examples in order to be able to make any sort of solid scientific assertions and determinations with any level of accuracy or dependability than I would be able to do in this particular sample. We're talking about 235 different ASPATs per game. That's not enough of a sample size in order to be able to create axioms that are inviolate and maintain a level of accuracy at the level that you, the dear viewers of Top 10 Worst of List, demand of their statistical analysis and scientific experimentation, And you'd have to, of course, because like people are going into the goddamn showers and they're like celebrating and stuff. So when they win, they're more apt to engage in sexual congress in the shower than when they lose. You're celebrating a big win. You just won, a game that puts you a half a game in first place in your division. And so you're excited and everything like that. More apt to be able to, throw down. You're more apt to be able to, pop a stiffy when the water gets a little too warm and comfortable. And you rub in there with the soap and your friend is next to you and is tight. And he's got, just the right amount of, muscle meets body fats to be able to really make you think that it'd be an interesting pound, trip to Pound Town. Can I say tripped? And it's like, the people having all kinds of different means and methodologies in order to be able to secure some intimacy in this world. And we frown upon so much of it now. How is anybody going to find any intimacy? And of course, this leads to more recreational pet use. And recreational pet use is just like any other dependency. It's not real. We project all these things onto pets like they're humanized, these personifications that don't really mean anything. These aren't people. These aren't people that are responsive. If you so you got your dog, right? Your dog comes home and goes absolutely nuts to see you, freaking out, right? And that's great, whatever. But it's not a real reaction based on who you are. You could be a mass murderer and the dog would still come home and go absolutely nuts to see you. It makes no difference who you are, what you are. You don't have to earn their respect. You don't have to earn their love. Freaking Hitler had a dog. The dog's name was Blondie. Do you think when Hitler came home from a hard day at the Wehrmacht, well, that Blondie was any less responsive than your dog is when you come home from a hard day at the Wehrmacht? The answer is no. Blondie be like, oh my God, it's freaking Hitler's home. Hitler's home. Hitler's running around, chasing around, tail and everything like that. All the things that you see your own dog do. Dog do? Where the hell am I going now? I mean, think about all the dog do that we have to throw out in these big, thick plastic bags. And everybody complains about, I want my groceries and comestibles in paper bags. Because the paper bags is saving the universe from the destructive aspects of non-biodegradable plastics. And you're thinking okay, well, I got to go out pick up my dog do, I don't know, about twice a day on average probably. And you put that, where do you put that into some thin little, little wispy Kleenex and throw it there in your bathroom, little tiny little garbage can in your bathroom? No, you take a big thick ass plastic bag, you wrap it up, you tie it up and you throw it into the closest available garbage. Well, how much plastic do you expect to be able to put in the garbage wrapped around your duties before you're figuring out that you're a freaking hypocrite? I don't want plastic bags on my groceries, but I'll take plenty to bag up my dog's poop and throw it away in a public dispensary or in a library or something where they belong. The hypocrisy, the hypocriteness is just too much to take sometimes. Why don't you pat your dog on the ass and see how that dog reacts? What are you going to do when it comes time to sort of sift through all the landfills and try to reclaim some of that area and pump out some of that garbage into space or whatever they're going to do with it and whatnot? And you find out that 90% of the goddamn landfills are all doggy doo wrapped in the thickest plastic commercially available. Sometimes industrial level thickness for plastics with that stuff. I'm not even getting to the cat. I haven't even gotten to the recreational cats yet. Oh, what's the point? You put so many and the kitty litter and 5 pounds. What, 5 pounds a week? A kitty litter laced with urines and cat feces, BMs. And you just toss that away and then like, no, but I take very much care of the environment, and I use very thick plastic bags coated with layers upon layers of chemicals so that the paper is strong enough to be able to haul home my goddamn canned asparagus. I just don't get it. Just come up with a plan and stick to it. If you're going to say that plastic is the worst thing since the invention of sliced bread, then you got to get rid of all the recreational pets. Because you're using plastic by the ton, probably 50 times as much plastic on bagging up your recreational pets' poops than you would be in carrying your groceries home once a week in plastic bags. And just end it. I'm not talking about, like offing your pets or anything stupid like that. I'm talking about, a gradual drawdown of recreational pet ownership. Or make the goddamn licenses so high that the only people who can own pets are people who can pay tons and tons of money that we immediately turned around and used for environmental protections. Or something. I don't know. I know that'll make pet ownership and recreational pet ownership sort of like an exclusive game that only the rich people can play. But, hey, how many other things do we have to do there? It's not like everybody's owning a Maserati and driving around eating foie gras while they're driving around a Maserati, stuff in between their various condos throughout high luxury areas. I'm taking my Maserati. I'm going to have it shipped over to Monaco, where, I could get a lot of Iranian caviar out there and toast points. And I'll be driving around between Monaco and the south of France, back and forth. I'm just driving back and forth and eating toast points full of caviars and steak tartare, Wagyu beef steak tartare. And people be like, wow, that sounds really impressive. Can I give you an ass pat? And people be like, wow, but I think that the root of the problem is not having, elimination of our environmental safety through having all of these pets and everything like that. I think the root of the problem is tied up with our inability to be intimate with each other, to be able to help each other. There's so much need in this world, whether it's loneliness or suicide hotlines or food banks and soup kitchens or just cleaning up the streets and coming up with groups and institutions designed to be able to create networks, like social networks where there aren't any government interference. There aren't any people blocking the organic flow of information and popularity. Why does Facebook limit you at 5,000 friends? You're punished for the amount of popularity that you've got. Not to say that, it's not helping people who are unpopular be more popular and get more friends. Who is it? Why are they doing it? And, people complain about dive bars and everything like that. Why are they not complaining about Facebook being a publishing site where everybody goes to Facebook? There isn't a single person that goes to Facebook other than to see people's news feeds and kind of connect with other people best they can and just discover maybe a few things to laugh about or complain about and be on the same page with other people and just see cool things that are just floating about in the blogiverse and whatnot. But all of that is user-created content. Facebook is a publishing site, and the materials that they publish are created by us. How come Facebook isn't paying us? They're making billions and billions of dollars, and we go to dive bars and say, I want you to pay me $500 to display my hobby. And we're just about bankrupt. And you're like, I don't care. I make model airplanes. I'm going to come and go zoom, zoom, zoom with my model airplanes for an hour. And I want $500. And they'll be like, okay. And then they can't do it. They can't come through. And you're like doing everything that you can to get a group of angry, disaffected, and misguided followers on Facebook, and Facebook is helping you along. Like, they're really ramping up your views and distribution of your messages and everything like that, because they want to see us destroy each other and destroy the last opportunities for us to be able to express ourselves freely. They want to be able to do all that because that's what gets them off. That's what they do it for. They don't do it for the profits. They're doing it for the hate, because they're absorbing the hate. They feed off the hate. It's their raison d'etre. Not to, use French in a salacious way, but it's got to end. People have got to end the level of ineptitude and misprioritization of their energies. Go after Facebook first. They've got the money, and you are doing their work, all of their work. You're creating all the content, and they're making all the money. The only money that Facebook should be making is enough to cover their costs for having data servers and keeping the site up. They don't do anything for us that be in the site for that. And in exchange, on top of not paying us, they do all kinds of psyops and experimentation. It's almost like a digital form, not quite nearly as bad, but it is in the same vein as a digital form of a Tuskegee experiment. They're not, giving people syphilis and watching around going blind and dying and all that kind of stuff, but they are telling us, and they're doing psychological experiments on us that lead to some people's deaths. People who are at risk, people who are depressed, people who are, have suicidal tendencies are out there, and Facebook is forcing up as many negative stories as it possibly can to the top of their newsfeed and blocking the distribution of their, calls for help, cries for help, or attention and things like that. They feel alone, they feel isolated, they feel worthless. And then they see all these depressing stories, and then they off themselves. And Facebook knows this, and they admitted to doing it in public. And we sit around and go oh no, we need to protest dive bars and smash them before they give us opportunities to be able to self-expression. Right? Stupid. Or Spotify, where they're paying 0.001 cent per spin on Spotify, while all the owners of Spotify are making billions upon billions of dollars hand over fist. It's so much money they don't even know what to do with it all. And that's not an exaggeration. And then they have, what do they have in terms of expenses? Running a site and building enough data servers to be able to hold all the music. Big freaking whoop! How much profit are they making off of? Billions upon billions! And they can only pay 0.001 cent. For us creating the content, a lot of the content on Spotify, admittedly, is done by people who are already superstars and stuff like that. So that's sort of a different story, but that maybe they should just escalate the people who are getting the least spins, but have the, some sort of way of measuring objective quality of their, creative impulses somehow, or just their, dedication to pushing forward and making more music and making more creative things happen. And they get, maybe a higher pay scale because they're really being assertive and applying their efforts as much as they possibly can. It can be measured. Everything can be measured now, and it is being measured right now. They'll measure how fast you scroll through a news article and how far down in the news article you get, and then they'll aggregate all those numbers, and they'll use it to decide where to bury the actual truth of any story at the bottom of a page where you never get to see it because you're so full of lies by the first two paragraphs that you can't continue on. Number 9. The top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning. Wait, did we do 10? Yes, we did 10. Number 9. Top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning. Top 10 worst ever. Cheating on your allergy scratch test. Now, look, I know that people are up to doing that type of thing. I've seen it. But who's the winner, who's the loser when you do something like that? Goddamn insurance company. You need coverage. Don't cheat on your allergy scratch tests, is I think the lesson that we'll all walk away from this episode of Top 10 Worst Tests. Your one-stop shop for the absolute iconic top 10 worst money-back guarantee. Number 8 of the top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning: change out your teacher's meds with placebos. We used to do that back in kindergarten. And what fun we had watching teachers foam at the mouth and go into a diabetic coma. I mean, that's tomfoolery right there, mister. Don't you forget it. We need a life with more whimsy on top of everything else. Everybody's so goddamn serious these days. Oh, well, you did this thing where you said this thing and I totally disagree with it. I mean, it was a joke, I put a post not too long ago on one of my social network pages where it showed a fake pile of dirt that I superimposed like really cheap, just, copy and pasted over the top of a picture of a street in my city. And I go, city now leaving piles of dirt in the middle of the street for no reason at all, just to annoy people. And people, like tons of people, 5 people, which for me is absolutely off the chain amounts of responses, said, this doesn't look like a real picture. I'm like going like, did you read the description? What kind of dumbass are you? Are you doing this just to be annoying or just to, bloviate and ruin somebody's day? Like, oh, I'm going to stop my day and stop my scrolling and I'm going to zero in on this guy and I'm going to tell him that he's a total idiot for posting a picture of something that looks fake and saying that cities are dumping dirt and gravel in the middle of the street. Of course it's fake, you stupid. Well, I must have said a nasty word with lots of, would have lots of negative repercussions. It was a 4-letter one beginning with C and ending in U next Tuesday. All right, so anyway, people are like going out of their freaking minds, man. It's just a goddamn, I'm just posting jokes. That's all I do is just post jokes. I want people to, feel like some sort of connectivity with the world and that there's, it's not all descending into madness. There's still, something worth living for, worth fighting to preserve. Because, the minute that they put the goddamn, Patriot Act out there, they admitted that the only way that we can preserve freedom in the United States is to eliminate freedom? What? I feel sorry for you. All you people are going to have to live long and fruitful lives long after, a burnt out husk such as myself has had to cash in their chips. Number 7 of the top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning: plagiarize the entire music catalog of the Eagles. Now, again, as I said earlier in this blogocast, there are no good days to have anything to do with anything concerning the Eagles. Seeing them, thinking of them, God forbid, listening to their music, talking about them in a conversation for anything more than a passing "the Eagles suck" comment or something to that effect. And so I think that, when I elaborate on an activity that involves the Eagles whatsoever, the activity itself is superfluous. All you got to say is something to do with the Eagles. I don't need to go plagiarize their entire music catalog or listen to one of their craptastic, plastic, emotionless piles of garbage or anything like that. I could just go have some sort of interaction with the band, the Eagles. And then people will know. They'll be like, oh man, that's rough. And Mondays are tough enough without that type of thing. And people make those connections in their head. It's beyond all unspoken. People are bad and horrible and dumb and ignorant and all the various different types of, any type of insult that you can come up with and you can apply towards people because they're just the worst. But they can still make connections when it comes to things like the Eagles and go like, oh, you poor thing. Oh, come to mommy. And then, I'll make it all better. Let me kiss it. Let me kiss the bruise. Kiss the bruise. I got a bruise you can kiss. All right, so number 6 of the top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning: replacing pizza toppings with horse groin. Now, look, I've been there, and it's it's actually pretty funny. I mean, I've been in an office where we did things like that, horse grinds, um, fish turds, and things like that in the sauce, on the top of the pizzas. Sometimes, depending on what you're using, it, can pass for sausage. Anything really can pass for sausage. Um, Bits of carved up whale pancreas, ambergris, like slather instead of that greasy film that forms on some pizzas. You get some ambergris. Do they call it ambergris? Whatevs. Replacing pizza toppings with horse groin isn't exactly considered to be, sort of fair play. And it can be misconstrued in the workplace as being a semi-aggressive act of recklessness, abusing people's health concerns. But it's not like you're replacing the gluten-free pizza dough with glutenated pizza dough. It's nothing like that. Or putting peanuts underneath the cheese. And people see like that, like, it's just different taste to this pizza and different sort of consistency to it. What was your recipe? I put peanuts in the pizza sauce. And you'd be like, oh my God, EpiPen! And they're flailing about, my EpiPen! Oh my God, I'm thinking fast, thinking about my EpiPen! And then they come out with the ballad after you're dead, saying whatever's, like, oh, how I loved my stupid coworker before they ate the za that took their precious life, 'cause their EpiPen was sitting in the car. Now we're going to her wake held at the local bar. She dropped dead, of course, with the groin meat of a horse. And I will... So, there you go. You got music, comedy. I can maybe give you a peep show. Oh, Top 10 Worst Stuff's got it all now, baby. The sky's the limit. Number 5 of the top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning, corking Little League baseball bats with C4 explosives. Oh, yeah. Blowing up children. Now, that's an effective way to end the cycle. Of this recidivism of, these helicopter parents, making everybody make all these demands to create safe environments for their kids, which are really incubators for them to turn out to be greed-addled brats running around without any, really deep personalities, just totally selfish, self-imposing, annoying jerk-offs. I mean, when you see corking the bats with explosives as a raison d'etre, you can formulate an entire worldview of what comes next. When you end the cycle of pain, the cycle of stupidity, the cycle of trusting all these numbnut jerk-offs to raise kids in this environment, they get just like, I've lost it. They're all horrible. They were all raised up on like Madonna being good. Like people were told that Madonna was good. And these people form these like skewed views of reality that are so perverted and useless. Do you remember when that Madonna came up with the like a prayer videos, man? Madonna, Well, Madonna's not going to help you now. Madonna was a cheap ass plastic phony back in the day, and you just didn't realize it, and you were being sold a bill of goods all the way back then, and it turned you into a numbnuts. And Martha Stewart's living high. Martha Stewart, today we're featuring how to cork a bat with C4 explosives, because it's a good thing. On Martha Stewart Living, right after these commercial messages. And 20 minutes out of every show is commercial messages. What do you expect people to turn out to be? A bunch of, Albert Einsteins and whatnot? No. And that's why all these kids are growing up, because our minds, our brains, our souls have been polluted to the point of no return, where we're all just mixed up in crazy nobodies with no ability to be able to act and in high-minded, mature ways, because we're all stunted by all this ignorance. Daryl Hall and John Oates. Oh, they were so good. I went to see Daryl Hall and John Oates at Nebworth. And you're going these people are goddamn, clownish buffoons. And you're watching movies like, what's it, stupid ass, Dude, Where's My Car? Or Porky's The Revenge. And you're thinking what do you expect people to turn out when you churn out a bunch of cultural mechanisms that are completely destabilizing and infantile forever and without, limitations, like the stupidity of nearly every Spielberg movie, 1941, and with all the racist connotations of that. And then you got, what else you get? Close Encounters of the Suburban Kind, and War Horse, and stupid, one after another. Even what somebody who's considered to be a more high-minded producer, Raiders of the Lost Ark. What kind of stupidity is that? Oh, here's a bunch of made-up antiquities, so that people might be able to feel like they got a learning experience tied in with this horse hockey, sugary garbage. And he's like among the best of examples of American cultural socialization that there is. He's bad. He's should be looked upon as a war criminal for some of the things that he's done. But things haven't rolled that way. I mean, we've been taken over by a fascist network. That fascist network loves having the public dumbed down or homogenized with a suburbanite ethos that's all-encompassing and relentless in each one of his movies. How many movies has the guy done that only features only white people as main acting roles? How about every one of them except two, Amistad and Color Purple? Has he done anything? I don't know. I think might not be exactly accurate, but I think I'm in the ballpark here. And same with Martin Scorsese, right? He's finally had a movie with somebody in color in it, because now Hollywood requires people to have people of color in movies in order to be able to consider for awards at the Oscars. So now he's got, I'll put somebody of color in one of my movies. It did 2025 or whatever, 2024. That movie with the oil and the Native Americans and stuff like that. But before that, name a movie with anybody of color in the movies. And the only one I can think of for Martin Scorsese is that hideous monster that he used to depict Sugar Ray Robinson in The Raging Bull. And Sugar Ray Robinson, the guy who he used, looks like a freaking murderous stalker. And that scowl on his face makes him look so evil. Sugar Ray Robinson's the greatest fighter of all time, pound for pound, without fail. It's like 138-2. It's insane how great he was. And to have the only tribute to that guy anywhere being that cryptic, nasty-looking version of him that goddamn racist prick Martin Scorsese put into The Raging Bull as tribute to, he's making a movie that's a tribute to a wife beater and a recidivist, sort of abuser, and things like that. And we're supposed to make a hero out of him because Martin Scorsese did a movie about him. And it's so great. It's his greatest achievement. Oh my God. Raging Bull's giving me a raging boner. It's on and on. And no wonder everybody's so goddamn stupid. Look what we've been infused into. And we're raising kids, and the kids are turning out to be totally out of their minds and off the charts insane with no continuity, no groundedness to them. Consider the source. The parents that we've got are unqualified to raise children. That's why everything is so bleak. It's because every time that something great disappears in our world, it's replaced by garbage. David Bowie dies. What do we get to replace David Bowie? Jessica Simpson. Oh, well, don't worry about David Bowie passing on. We got Jessica Simpson. Or Prince died. Prince dies. What do we got? Don't worry, we got Chris Brown. Chris Brown's going to save the day. He's going to beat the hell out of Rihanna, but who cares? It'll give him more spins. What does the world react to? Well, Clear Channel should be prosecuted as accessory after the fact for encouraging violence, encouraging criminality by increasing the amount of spins that Chris Brown got after he beat the hell out of Rihanna. That guy's career should have been over. All these other people who did less, their careers are over. People who did less. It's not making any sense. You're not making any sense. God damn it. If I were there with you, I'd shake the hell out of you until you woke up from your slumber, your suspended animation. Or give you a nice friendly pat on the ass. Wake up, buddy. You can come. You make you come back. I got faith in you. And you'd be like, oh, I've been touched. Oh, odds bodkins. Arf goes Sandy. What would happen to this old copper tone sunscreen company used to have a logo, almost like an ad campaign logo of a young girl of an indeterminate age, but very, very young, with her top off and a dog, I think it is, like pulling down her swimsuit bikini bottoms and showing the tan line. And then they got some, I don't know, I forget exactly what it was, but they got some little line there, little cutesy slogan line like, oops, it's my naked 7-year-old ass, or something like that. What do you think would happen to people if they even just printed a picture of that stupid ass logo in today's day and age? It's not just excommunication. It'd be like people would be out with needles, long threaded screws to stick into their eyes and their mouths to wire them shut and to have them bleed out through their eyeballs. And it's just like, okay, well, where are we going with all of this? It's not that, like we shouldn't wrong the things that we did wrong in the past. My God, there's so much of it. There's a movie, what is it, The Confederate States of America, which shows, I think it depicts a world, if I remember correctly, where the Confederacy won the Civil War. And you watch this thing and, it's like watching television in a post-Confederate States of America win in the Civil War. And they show all these ads and stuff like that. And one thing after another of these like astoundingly racist, just like horrifying racist products. And you think like, this satire is really biting. These guys aren't holding back. And then at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, I'll give you a minute. Ding, 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 eat my nads. Do, nads. Nads. Ding, ding. All right, here we go. So at the end, you find out that these ads are all real products from old-timey times, from like around antebellum times, around the war and stuff like that. And I'm not going to even mention how racist these products are. It's so insane over the top, that I can't even confront it right now. Also, plus I haven't researched it. I don't have that information directly in front of me. But the fact of the matter is that this stuff existed. So I'm not saying that there isn't room a massive amount of room for us to mature. I'm just talking about the areas that we regress and become more and more immature are so vast and expanding so rapidly that even if we matured for some of these old transgressions, we'd still be losing ground overall. God damn it. All right, so next top 10 worst list is how to do on a Monday morning. Using bread slices for Kleenex. Now, I know that we've all been there in a pinch. I've used slices of rye for toilet paper. And it's okay. You get away from, you got to get the rye bread without the caraway seeds, though, or else you're in for a real time-consuming mess. But using bread slices for Kleenex, really, if you're getting to that point in your life, ask for help from somebody. It's got to be somebody who gives a rat's ass about you. And we'd have a lot more people who are available to help people in times of crisis where they've descended into a period in their life where bread slices have to serve for Kleenex. We'd get a lot more people who are available with a lot more energy if we phased out recreational pet ownership. I'm telling you, it is it's something that you should reward yourself in a perfect world where everybody's, kind of basically having their needs met. There's not exploitations of a massive imposition where people are getting wiped out by cluster munitions left in civilian areas, where people aren't stuck in leather tanneries and sweatshops, and they don't have to put safety netting installed around the Foxconn factories because so many people are committing suicide rather than having to live another day in those goddamn environments. Where people aren't calling, don't have any unanswered calls on suicide hotlines, where no rape kits have been are left that are unprocessed. In a world with all these other needs, where people are getting hurt, where people are unsafe, we need to solve those problems first, and then get yourself a goddamn pet. Is that such a big whoop? And in the meantime, you're getting pets just to displace your angst and your loneliness. You're not solving any problems, you're making the problems worse. Because while you're getting these pets and lauding all of this time and money and interest over them and believing them to be like family members and ascribing personification qualities on top of them that don't really exist, that the relationship between pets, recreational pets, and us. And I'm not talking about getting rid of seeing-eye dogs or drug-sniffing dogs or any of that type of stuff, or companion animals for people who are in really desperate situations. I'm talking about the average schmuck with a goddamn pet that's taking up a whole lot of energy and natural resources. The amount that we spend globally on recreational pets is the same exact amount of money that it would take to feed the world. And there's 9 million people dying of starvation every goddamn year. That's 23,000 people a day dying from starvation-related causes. And we're like, well, we're going to spend money on pets instead because pets give us the illusion of happiness and have unconditional love, even if we're jagoffs. The biggest jagoff in the whole world, freaking Al Capone, come over to his house and the dog would be like, ooh, Al Capone's home. And you know this. The pets are not responsive to the quality of person that they belong to, that they are slaves of, that they are beholden to make a living, which for a recreational pet, their job is to sit around and take up space and poop all over and eat. That's their job. Grow up, goddammit. Did anybody ever have anybody say, it's just, man. All right, number 3 of the top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning, replace the dishwashing detergent with anthrax. Hey, honey. Yes, dear. I'm on my way to work. I've got a load of dishes. Could you start with the load of dishes and stuff? And I'll be home late. Yes, dear, not a problem. And then they go to the dishwasher, they start it up, and it's anthrax time. Oh my God. She's like, and you're out there taking Cipros, pounding Cipros. Oh my God, you got liquefied Cipro smoothies and stuff like that for breakfast. And you're like, thank God, the horror is over. The spouse is dying. I mean, that's, like, oh, I can't wait to tell my side piece. And, and then you start to think all of a sudden, you're like, wow, when I get with the side piece, I'm going to have to get a new side piece. And it's going to be like, you're still going to have problems. You've done all that work. You knocked off the spouse. You got the side piece ready for action. And you still got problems. Number 2 of the top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning, rearranging Beethoven's Fifth Symphony for bagpipe. Now that's really annoying. That, people, you want to make yourself like the center of attention. I'd say like Mr. Wait a second. I got the perfect one for it somewhere. It's, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Drew Peacock is now presenting the premiere of his arrangement of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony for bagpipe. And they start playing it, and then they chase him down the street like that scene from Seven Chances, what is it, from Buster Keaton, where he's running down the hill with all these rocks and brides chasing his ass. Or what's the other one? There's one with the kid who played Chris O'Donnell. There's a movie where they got a bunch of like potential betrothed wives chasing him down the goddamn street. I actually can't remember. But you know what I'm going for here. Like, a lynch mob coming after him in order to tear him limb from limb for creating something that annoying and distributing it to the world. And not, it's just the sort of thing where you come up with this like super toxic weapon and you think to yourself, well, this weapon's going to kill everybody on planet Earth. So maybe I shouldn't distribute it to, a lot of people. Maybe I should just kind of destroy the plans so that no one can ever possibly use it and create it and use it against the human race. But instead of a toxic weapon that can destroy planet Earth and all life on it, we're talking about something almost as destructive. Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, arranged for bagpipe ensemble. It's funny how the way life works. Not really, but hey, it makes for a glib thing to say on the way to the number 1 of the top 10 worst things to do on a Monday morning. Leak your parents' browser history to their Bible study. Yes, hurt your parents. They did enough damage to you. Why not get back at them for once? Wait for the perfect timing, like, when they're all planning on doing like a sabbatical to visit the Vatican in Rome and meet the pontiff or something. I don't know. Well, actually, Bible studies. Do the Bible studies have for the Catholics? Do the Catholics have Bible studies? Or is it just the Christians? I don't know. Anyway, that's all time we got for Top 10 Worst Thoughts. What an incredible experience it's been for me. I just don't even know. I can't even contain myself. Mostly because of the size of my belly. But I can't contain myself for emotional reasons as well. What an incredibly insightful and courageous person I am to be able to bring you a list such as this, which is really kind of almost guarantees to bring a bunch of ire and threats of violence upon me at some point when enough people listen to it. Hey, what the hell? You got to do what you got to do. You got to be true to yourself or why bother, right? So tune in again next time for, this next one coming up. You won't want to miss that. It's Top 10 Worst Times to Rub a Juicy Lemon in an Open Wound. See you later, and thanks so much. Oh, by the way, we got one more. Wait.